Hello and welcome to Mystical Wisdom. My videos for Mystical Wisdom are designed to accompany a blog under the same title that you can find on the website. So make sure you go there, read the blog, and also make sure to sign up so that you always know when I put up a new video. Sometimes it's Mystical Wisdom, sometimes it's Signs and Wonders. Now, the topic today is about the Age of Aquarius. Is this the dawning of the Age of Aquarius? Actually, it's like 1967 when the musical Hair made a very delightful and charming song, very popular, in which they sang, "This is the dawning of the Age of Aquarius." And the moon will be in, I think they said, the 7th house, and Jupiter will align with Mars, and peace will guide the planet, and love will rule the stars. Okay. Now, I want to say to you that despite all the Aquarius stuff that's going down in the present time, we've just had the Jupiter-Saturn conjunction in Aquarius, and coming up to mid-February, February the 11th, when there's a new moon in Aquarius, we will get a whole lineup of planets in Aquarius. There will be the Sun, there'll be the Moon, Mercury, Venus, not Mars, Jupiter, Saturn. So that's almost the whole of the known traditional planets, you know, before you get out to the further planets, Uranus, Neptune and Pluto. So if ever there was a sign for the Age of Aquarius, that might be it, February the 11th, 2021. And there are lots of different ways of approaching the date for the beginning of the Age of Aquarius that are really quite complicated, and they're to do with astronomical technicalities that we don't need to go into particularly. But the Age of Aquarius has suggests by its title that it's to do with things that are Aquarian, archetypally Aquarian. And what does that mean? Well, the sign of Aquarius depicts the constellation that's connected with the sign of Aquarius, has a picture of a young man pouring water from a jar, an urn. He's a water bearer. It's not a water sign. That often confuses people who don't know about astrology. It's an air sign. So what is being poured is perhaps a water of divine wisdom that can be received by humanity, and that it's being poured equally and without favour. That is also an Aquarian idea. That is a humanitarian concept that people should share things. It's a nice sharing kind of sign. Not necessarily caring, but sharing. Now, that last comment of mine brings me to a very important topic. If there have been different ages throughout human history, it is not necessarily the case that a new age will be a better age just because it's changed sign. And if you think about it and you look at history, you look at the historical characters, any person under any sign can be a good influence or a bad influence. There are some signs of the zodiac where people always suck their teeth and say, "Oh, it's a Scorpio, oh dear," you know. But a Scorpio can be a visionary and a insightful healer. Doesn't have to be a murdering bastard, although it could be. So every sign has got the capacity to bring towards us a quality of the highest potential or possibly the lowest potential. So don't get taken away by the notion that the dawning of the age of Aquarius will mean that peace will guide the planets and love will rule the stars. Actually, divine love rules everything, actually. But within that everything, there is the ebb and flow. And we see that in astrology. We see the ebb and flow from what are called positive yang signs and yin signs, which are usually called negative, but it doesn't mean negative. It just means receptive. Creative and receptive is another way to call the signs. So the age of Pisces, you would say, was potentially more of a spiritual sign because it was more introverted as a sign, and the age of Aquarius might be thought of as more getting technology together so that you can share it with people. You don't have to care about them to share it. So have a good think about what you're expecting from this age and how you as a person and we collectively can make the most of the positive potential of a new way of doing things. It's like putting on a new costume. You know, we're putting aside the Piscean more introverted sign, and then we're stepping into the age of Aquarius. And when that started is a very difficult question. But if that's what's going on, and it's Aquarius all the way, then how can we make the best advantage of that so that the new age does bring more peace and allows us to share more love? But I don't think it's actually anything to do with the sign. It's not to do with the costume. It's what's to do with who's in the costume that counts. And as you can tell from what I've just said, I always come back to this notion of theatre. You know, that there's a way of putting on a cloak or putting on a costume, and this is how something's going to be performed in a certain way. But it doesn't tell you what is the driving desire and inspiration. If Aquarius is about technology and being able to reach more people through the internet, for example, that is a style and a way of doing things. But the intention behind the style and underpinning what is going on is a different matter altogether. And that intention is not ruled by the stars. It's chosen by the souls, or the collective soul of humanity must make choices about how it uses the costume of Aquarius, the facilities that the Aquarian air sign gives us to deliver a lot more content to a lot more people. That's great. We can pour the information out of our water urn and more people can receive it. But where is the caring? Where is the love that's going to guide the stars? That is not measurable in time frames or thousands of years. It's either here and now, and it either was 2,000 years ago when they say the last age began. It was either there in that particular historical context, particularly that gave rise to Christianity. That love was there, and it took on a particular guise. That love doesn't go away. That love is part of divinity. And divinity is not interested in the clockwork of the stars. divinity overrules time. Love is as strong as death. So the Age of Aquarius can give us an opportunity through technology, through the ability to connect with each other in a global way that's never happened to the human race before. But it's the intention behind that sharing. That's the key to whether love takes charge or not. Many blessings. Keep shining.